Pull myself off mute real quick. That's not bad. That's not bad. I like the new setup. I'm trying different things out. Seeing what I like best for the setup. Seeing if I can scoot it over a little bit more. There it is, yeah. Now I think that's nice. You guys, first of all, let me turn this background music down a little bit and welcome everybody on in. Want to change one, want to see if I can drop this down just a little bit. Just to get the shot a little bit better for you guys. There it is. All right, so first of all, I want to say welcome on in, welcome on in. My name is Shannon Williams, and I am the OCPD Coach. My goal is to help you build a healthier relationship with progress. Progress. So, how do I do this? I show you guys my life. I'm a certified product owner, and I use a lot of industry standard tools that I use to run these billion-dollar companies. I use these same tools and strategies in my personal life. That is the only way that I have found an ability, first of all, because it's really difficult. But it's the only way I've been able to find an ability to find time for work and find time for family while also finding time for myself and do that without feeling any type of guilt. So that is what I do. We are going to get started really, really soon here. I do want to tell you guys that I apologize for yesterday's stream. There was nothing I could do about that. I hate bumping stuff back, but again, that is a great way for me to practice working on my rigidity because sometimes we get so stuck and we just have these standards that we can't always fulfill and we'll have guilt for it. So I want to tell you guys I apologize. I'm not holding myself accountable to feel bad about it anymore because of that fact though. What I've done instead was I said, okay, cool, I'll move it to Friday, which is today. That way I didn't wipe it off on my list completely and we'll get it done today. So today's stream is going to be a quick check-in, a really, really quick check-in. We're going to go through our Jira board. The lighting looks warmer. And yeah, that was my goal. So I have a bunch of different lighting effects, but the lighting setup that I have right now is my, what do I call it? I call it my chill. So this is my chill. This is when my wife, she got me some new candles. So I'm probably gonna light this candle tonight and cut these lights off so I can just focus and get some work done. But yeah, I wanted to make it a lot warmer today. And my goal for this stream is to do a weekly check in and let you guys know how I'm doing with my goals and my tasks. Ultimately, I want you all to get set up in Jira or set up in some type of task management software so that I can help you all. So if you all are working through getting certain things done, I know Megan, you were talking about doing some budgeting. These are the types of streams here where I can help you, where we can talk about how you're tracking if you have your goals broken up into eatable or chunked out pieces that are actually consumable, or if there is some adjustment that needs to be made. That's where I come in. So that's my long spiel for today. Let me take a sip of water and run right through this. And I had a hat on. I don't know if I'm keeping it on. I did shave. I did get a fresh shave, but I always like for my wife to get a look at it before I go live to make sure I didn't miss a whole chunk of hair. All right. So let's hop into it. We are going to switch over to our active. Yeah, I'll need to adjust this. I keep changing my camera every single stream. So every time I change it, I have to readjust my default. There it is. And let's set this to be update. There it is. Okay, let's get to it. All right. I need to update my wish list too because I think that number has changed. Let's start off with our where do we want to start today? We have 6 different columns. Where do we want to start today? Let's put a timer on it. 20-minute timer. I think we can start with, let's start with blocked. We'll start with blocked and knock that out. So first of all, I'm blocked. I have my marketing meeting. So the reason why I have this blocked is because this is dependent on a day, a certain day. So with it being depending on a certain day, I can't force that day to happen yet. So I'll push it to blocked until that day happens. When that day comes, then I can move it over to do and progress or done wherever it needs to be. But because this task is not due until Sunday, we have it blocked. Let's see the chat. Oh, you remember? Thank you. I honestly haven't done anything with my Jira setup since I made my account. I think it was last Saturday or Sunday. Hey, that's look. This is the thing. I'm all about incremental progress, right? So I you making the account, that is the first step. That is the first step. You got the account made. The next thing we'll work on doing is getting you your Jira board configured how you like it. Because I noticed that everybody I've worked with, they have a different setup that works best for them. My setup, as you can see, I've actually adjusted this a few times, but I have 6 columns. Some people can get away with 3 columns. You might have a block, a to-do, in progress, and done. That might be enough. So that's the next step, is trying to get that set up for you. And that's always something we could do on a live stream if you I think you could call in a screen share if that's something you would want to do. and we could walk through that or outside of it on Discord or something, as time permits. So yeah, that's something we'll get you set up. But great job for just taking that first step to making progress. Now the next thing I have on here is my hyper focus stream for Saturday night. This is the stream I do every Saturday where I typically work. And I started doing this new thing where I'm going to start having a call in link so you guys can hop in StreamYard or wherever I'm at, and we can chat it up. If you wanted to ask questions, if you want me to help you out with something in real time, we'll start doing that. So I'm considering making two separate streams, one Friday nights and one Saturday nights. I want to talk it over with my family first though, because I want to make sure whatever I do is not going to get in the way of time that I spend with them. But part of me thinks they won't care because as long as my son is asleep, my wife, she likes to watch me anyway. So it might work out where I can have a Friday night stream and then a Saturday night stream. Next thing we have on here is the benchmark and social media stats. Again, that is blocked until Sunday. So we have 3 block tasks: Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll get to all of them. Next on the list is the to-do column. Let me zoom in just a little bit for you guys, make it a little easier for you to see. There we go. So in my to-do column, I have my OCPD Coach Thursday stream. That is today. So I'm going to move that. That's happening right now. Let's move that to in progress. Let's go back this way. Next thing I have on here is shaving. Ha ha ha. I actually shaved before I went live. So let's move that over here. Get our dean for that. Next on here, I have read Bible for 30 minutes. I have not done this. I've been so busy. I'm not even going to start making excuses, but I will tell you guys that the past 2 or 3 days at work have been insane. Honestly, I had to cancel yesterday's stream, and if you know me, I don't cancel streams. I don't cancel meetings. I typically stick it out. Is Jira similar to Trello? The setup kind of. So yes, so I just saw the comment. It didn't scroll up. But Jira is very similar to Trello. I used to use Trello. What I like about, and especially in this Kanban board view, because Trello uses the Kanban board, and I haven't used Trello in so long, but when I was using it, they had the Kanban boards. What I like about Jira is it feels more serious and legitimate. So every single thing is grouped in a certain way outside of what you visually see here. I have a backlog to pull everything from the actual point values, the professionalism of it all, the customization, the workflows, the automations you can do with it. I really just enjoy using Jira more than Trello. But I did use Trello for years. I just never got things done with it. It really just was too loose and it felt more like play. When it comes down to this, it's really work. It seems like it's work. So I definitely wanted to switch it up for that. But yep, it does the same thing. Next thing we have is cutting Bean's hair. So this is my son's hair. I didn't cut his hair yet, and I'm starting to think if it's even due for a haircut today or if I might have to wait till tomorrow. Part of me thinks I cut his hair earlier throughout the week, but I don't think I did, so we'll save that. Yeah, you got the sound effect. Next, we have admin planning. This is always in progress. So this is when I set up my streams, when I do any type of work that is related to my stream. So setting my cameras up, I went ahead and got myself one of these. So I had this delivered probably about an hour ago. Oh wait, not this one. The other one. I had the other one delivered about an hour ago and hooked it up. But it's a dual HDMI adapter. So in tonight's stream, if I stream again tonight, I might be able to set up my drawing board. So when I do my answering questions or even just drawing, you guys be able to see what I'm drawing. So fingers crossed that that works out. We're gonna give it a test, but that is work that I'm actively doing. Next, these are things I did not get a chance to do, and I'm hoping I get a chance to do it, but I won't be surprised if I don't, because I haven't gotten a chance to work on any of my stuff outside of work this week. It's really been work, work, work. So a lot of this stuff might get bumped back. So we have adding phone effects for phone calls. I didn't do that. Speaker effects for announcements. I didn't do that. Fixing unit purchase system. This actually does not even need to be in here. I don't know how this one got in here. So this one is not due because they won't be able to purchase units inside of the demo. So adding persona card data to table. That's something I'm actively working on. Sending my game for testing again. We have to do that. Rebuilding that first 15-minute experience. Haven't tested that. Packaging milestone 1. I'm hopeful I can do this. This is for all-time wrestling. So if I can get this done and off my plate, that'd be amazing. And adding the combo system is something else that I'm working on, but I haven't actively started doing anything for it. So let me move these up to the top Everything that is all-time wrestling, I'm moving up to the top because my goal is to work all-time wrestling to the point where I get a milestone one, semi-milestone one over for review. While that's being reviewed, work on Retro Game Store Simulator, get that up for demo and playtesting. While that's having the demo and playtest done, come back to all-time wrestling. And then hopefully I can wrap up all-time wrestling and Retro Game Store Simulator about the same time and go heavy into marketing for Retro Game Store Simulator. All right, let me see. So yeah, that wraps up our to-do section. And then we have our stretch. We have implement sound effects. I'm probably not going to be able to do all of this because this is a lot of work here. But I would at least like to start. So I do have the sound effects, and if I could at least start, I'll be happy with that. So let me do one, and this is just going to be as much as I can get done. All right, Megan, let me see what else you put in there. So, and let me drink some water because I'm talking a lot. So I'm also ADHD and sometimes lack the motivation to do a specific task and want to do something else. Do you have time blocks where you can choose whatever task you feel like doing, or do you force yourself? Justin, what is up, my brother? Welcome on in. I'm glad you got the alert. Discord is so late with sending my alerts out, but I'm glad you got the alert. Let me see Megan's second part. Do you force yourself to do a specific task in that time block? It feels so hard to force myself to do something I don't want to do. Okay. Ooh, great question. Let me get through this and then come back to that question because I actually have a great answer for it that I hope is beneficial for you. So I'm gonna finish wrapping this up and then I want to talk about that because that is a difficulty that uh, I think I figured out enough of a solution for it. And I talked to my wife last week about something brand new that I'm thinking of doing. But we'll see. Give me 1 minute to finish this up and let's talk about it. Brainstorming, implement rent payment system. Ding. I mean, why did I ding? I'm tired, y'all. I didn't mean to ding. Hold on. Uh, take that ding back. I didn't do this. This is just something that I would like to get started, but honestly, I'm not. I'm not going to get started on this. It's impossible. Impossible based off my priorities. That is. Let's bump this out to play test 2. This is something you have to be comfortable with, but don't get complacent with it. Sometimes you have things that you know you will not get done. It's okay to bump those things out, especially if they are not high priority or blocking anything else. The thing is that you don't want to keep blocking it. So I like Jira because I think Jira will track how many times you block a ticket or you kick a ticket out. And that is something to always keep track of so you don't keep kicking the same ticket out, same workout. But sometimes you overcommit. And for all of the meetings that I've had over the past 2 days, I definitely overcommitted. So, excuse me. Let's pull some stuff back. All right. Next we have in progress. So I had admin planning, add persona table, OCPD coach Thursday stream. Pull that to the top. Add persona card data table. Build a tax system. Yes. Build match loop. So we are doing this. We are doing this. We are doing all 3 of these right now. Make everything feel more snappy, satisfying, throwing things in the trash. This is something that we're going to bump this out to playtest 2 also. There's no way I'm going to do this to the degree that I want to. So certain things that I know I absolutely cannot do, let's just pull it out. Let's just pull it out. No need to keep it in and make ourselves feel bad throughout the week when we look at stuff we know we can't get done, yet we're keeping it on our board just for visibility. No need for that. All right. So next on the list is this. We have our shaving. I did that. This is the fun time. And actually, let me do this. Let's switch it up a little bit. And Megan, please stay tuned for that question because I do want to dive into it. That was a great question. Let's do green. How about green? Yeah. So let's do green. And this is our winning time. This is when we get to look at everything we got done and celebrate to an extent. And let me do one more thing. Let's light up our face a little bit. That's way more than a little bit. There we go. All right. So if we get back to where we were, we have shaving, did that. Jameson meeting, I actually had that a little bit earlier today, but that was a meeting with my consultant, and that went amazing. Take family to see Fantastic Four. I forgot that was this week. That was this week. I forgot. You like the green? Awesome. Yeah, I like to switch the colors up every once in a while, give it something new. Next, we have the Thursday night stream. Control Alt the actually, this needs to change names because now this is Don't At Us, and that is a stream we did last night where we talked about incels and gaming. So that was a really fun conversation. And I just remembered I'm saving it here, but I also need to rename it when I do my sprint planning this week. Next, so we did that. We have our OCPD Coach Sunday stream. That's the stream I always knock out right away on Sundays. The trademark check-in. Sun time, 2.5 hours, at least 2.5 hours this week, at least. And we always get more than that. So yes, definitely got some sun time in. Wife time, 5.5 dedicated hours. We got that in. Working out at least 2 days a week. I'm about to get back to using my weights real soon. I can feel it. I'm so close. But we did our workout, our walk, and just doing some basic workouts this week. So we did that. Getting voiceover scripts created for NPCs. See, I did that a long time ago. And taking AJ to the vet, that was something else that popped up. I forgot about that. Yeah. Let me see how many points I think I gave myself the points for that. Yeah, my dog's not feeling the best. So I had to take him to the vet, and that took some hours out of my day. And just continuing to check on him, making sure he's good. But this is life. So life happens. When life happens, you pull stuff out and you pull new stuff in. I mean, you pull new stuff, you create new tickets, and then you pull stuff out. All right, so that's where we are. So we are looking at, let me give myself credit for the Thursday streams. We can knock that off. Boom. So that's the stream we're in right now. So we're looking at 12 tickets done, 4 tickets in progress, which I know that's a lot to have at one time, but these tickets are so closely coupled that it doesn't make sense to have them separate. And if I get time, we will work on. I really want to get package and milestone 1, but there are some more things I don't have inside of here that will make it impossible for me to package milestone 1. So I might, man, I might have to delay it, but we'll see. We'll see. I might have to bump that one out. What kind of dog do you have? We have an almost 11-year-old pug. Pug? Wow, 11 years old. You guys have been you all have been taking great care of him. Gabe. I have a Shih Tzu Bashan. He is, how old are you, AJ? 6? My dog is 6 years old now. He's a little white and brown dog. You occasionally see him on my streams. He's a lap dog, so he likes to jump in my lap when I'm working, and he'll try to force me to go to bed and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's my dog. But yeah, guys, so if you came just for the midweek check-in, that's where we're looking. Confidence wise, I would say I'm about 65%, which is not high, but I'm about 65% positive I'll be able to knock all of this out. I still have so much work that I have to do. I have to get all time wrestling done, and I have stuff on here for my retro game store simulator, which I don't even know if I'm going to be touching it this week, but we'll see. And things like honestly, certain things on here I don't even need right now. Speaker effect for announcements. I already have that done. Why do I have that there? I just thought about the fact I already have reverb on the speakers, so that's already taken care of. The phone effect for phone calls, let's bump this out because this is not necessary right now, honestly. This is not necessary right now. Let's make we have to be realistic with what we're doing here and make sure we're focusing on the important things. Building this trinket list is pretty important, and I can knock that out pretty easily because I can fit that into the inside of something I'm working on. Implementing sound effects, we'll keep that because I would like to get started. Rebuilding that first 15 minutes is definitely more imperative though. So I have that in stretch where it belongs. Let me add this here. RGSS for testing. That's a stretch. If we can get that package, that'd be great. Packaging milestone 1, honestly, that's a stretch. I want to get this built, but I don't think I might have more features that I haven't accounted for. And time flies, guys. Time flies. And I'm hot. I need to cut the fan on. But that's that. So if you guys came just for the weekly check-in, you're welcome. And I want you guys to keep fighting for your life with this. Don't give up. Even if you have been slacking off from Jira and you haven't been taking it as serious, it's okay. It happens sometimes. Nobody is holding you to a standard of life to use this tool, by the way. So even if you start to feel that you are slipping or you're not taking it as serious, you are your own judge. You are your own judge, and you're your own executor. Executor. It sounded so weird. I wanted to say executive for some reason, but you are your own executor and executive. So you make your own decisions. So we'll bump that. Give me 1 second. If you all have any more questions, drop them in the chat, and we'll go to Q&A time in about 5 minutes. timer. And let me switch this up. Guys, I'll be right back. Let me cut my fan on because I'm burning up. And let me make sure my wife is good. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. So let's get to the questions. We have a question of the day. Full cam. Full cam. There it is. So let me clear this timer out. And honestly, the lighting isn't bad. I'll leave it. I like this camera position. I like it. Not bad. Not bad. So we'll keep it. Not showing too much and still close enough where I can be personal with you guys. So that's what I really wanted. I am getting cool since I cut the fan on. So we are going to talk about Megan's question, which I think will be very helpful for anybody who has ADHD or just struggles in general with focusing and getting things done, getting the right things done, right? So sometimes we get things done, but we don't get the right things done. This would be a great time to have the drawing board, but it's okay. All right. So Megan's question is, got it here. Megan, are you still here? See if Megan's still here. Pull this here. Pull that here. Okay, and then let's pull this up. Okay, Megan's question is this. So, I'm also ADHD and sometimes lack the motivation to do a specific task and want to do something else. Okay, perfect. Do you have time blocks where you can choose whatever task you feel like doing? Or do you, let's get the rest of the question, force yourself to do a specific task in that time block? It feels so hard to force myself to do something I don't want to do. Yes. Mm, great question. So I actually talked about this really in detail on a video where I talked about my brain being like the office, where I have, because I have ADHD and OCPD, I have Michael Scott is what I consider to be my ADHD side of my brain. And then Dwight Schrute is what I consider to be the OCPD side of my brain. And they're always at conflict, right? It always seems like one half of you wants to be extremely strict and the other half wants to be loosey goosey. And when you have both of those sides, sometimes it's really, really hard for you to find balance and find structure, but also at the same time have fun. You are going to have a hard time forcing yourself to do anything, especially with an ADHD brain, because we are not motivated by the things that motivate a lot of other people, right? So you are going to really Thank you. Fantastic, fantastic analogy. Thank you very much. I was really happy with that one because I love The Office and it came together. But you are going to have to figure out a few things. A few things. I'll do A. We'll do letters this time. A. You're going to have to figure out what is the most important thing. What is the most important thing? And take notes on this one. The next thing I have is what is the most valuable thing? Now, these are different to me. And the next question is how do you motivate yourself? Right? How do you motivate yourself? I could start doing slides. That might be something I could do also. But the reason why you want to figure out A, what is the most important thing? B, what is the most valuable thing? And C, how do you motivate yourself is because it's going to help you with your time allotment and then your decision making. And I'll give you a quick example. With my ADHD, I'm very easily inspired. So you might be like this, especially if you have any creative bone. We are very easily inspired. With my OCPD, I'm very, very efficient. So anywhere I go, I'm able to find something that could be done, no matter if it's something that's creative or it's something to make something much more efficient, right? So, yeah, slides. Okay, what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go live again tonight. Probably more than likely, I'll probably go live again tonight, just getting some work done. And I'm gonna see if I can get this board connected because if I get my sketchboard connected, that'd be a lot more easy, a lot easier for me. Excuse me. But yeah, somebody who's easily inspired. There's always going to be something for you to do. There's either going to be a fix where you're looking at a lot. For me, I'm really big at going to I go to Disney World and I'll go to Disney World and look at a line system or a queue system and say, man, we all get in one room, specifically the dinosaurs ride. Everybody gets in this big room after standing in a line. And I know it doesn't matter much, but to go from standing in a line to a big giant room to get back in the line, never like that system. It always, I'm going to say anxiety because that's the word that I think is technically associated with it. But I always get this, oh man, this is almost a new term for me, unorganized anxiety. Unorganized anxiety. So when things are unorganized, it just makes my heart beat faster, makes me frustrated, makes me more annoyed, all of those different things, less patient. And I start to say in my head, why would this person not think to do this? So unorganized anxiety is what I would call it, right? Something like that, when I go, it's really, really hard for me not to start thinking of ideas to fix it. Really, really easily inspired. So that's an example with that. And another thing is games. Anytime I have some form of show I'm watching, or I might be watching a streamer play games, all of a sudden I get inspired to try to make a new game, or even watching my son play with toys inspires me. But I know this about myself. I didn't know this until a few years back when I learned about my ADHD. So with me knowing that, I never really asked myself, what do I feel like doing? That is, you notice, that's not one of the questions I said. So I'm putting that on the other side of X, and these are questions that you don't need to ask yourself, or questions that should hold less weight. What do I feel like doing? So because I'm easily inspired, yes, I see the yes. That's what I'm talking about. Because I'm so easily inspired, I have to know that I cannot move off of my feelings in the current moment because I'll be moving. I showed my project graveyard over 30 projects. I kept jumping around. I have literally 112 tabs open in Safari on my phone. I have the same. I had the same thing And what I started doing, because I noticed that, I started just blindly closing everything out. Get organized bookmarks. You can do organized bookmarks inside of Chrome or whatever browser you're using, and just create folders, loose folders. They don't have to be super detailed, because I know how we'll get 5 layers in. It doesn't need to be like that. It could be home improvement. I have one that's just Steam. So anything Steam related. And that's probably over 50 tabs in it now. But Danny Donovan's anti-planner is so cool. I have to check that out. Danny. I have a crab graveyard. And a crab graveyard, it's the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. I have a project graveyard. You can call it a crab graveyard, but it's things that we were probably extremely excited to do. We were like, yes, this is going to be such a cool project. It could bring in a lot of money. I'm going to be able to create this vision, bring this vision to life. And you don't stop to really think about the value of it and compare the importance of it in that moment. You just get so hyped up on the dopamine and the excitement of getting that thing done or bringing it to life. So that is why we have to take, what do I feel like doing? We have to kind of take that off the table for right now, right? And then let me see what else you said. I do that too, where I just get fed up and delete them all. Like if I haven't looked at it again, then I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. And create yourself a routine. Go through it every single, once a week or something, whatever works for you. I'll do it if I get over 10 tabs. So if I get over 10 tabs, that means that I need to start closing things out. And you'll probably notice that a quarter of those tabs are repeated. You probably repeated a whole lot of them. So that is a big thing for me, is getting what do I feel like doing off the table. So then we go back to what is the most important thing. Only you for the most part, are going to know what the most important thing is. And that is going to depend on what goals you're striving to hit. If anybody else is involved in the decision making or impacted by your decision making, if it's a monetary thing, if it's something that keeps your job. And this is where, when I talk about the value lanes and talk about how everything we do in life should be associated with the lane or a bucket. So I have a spiritual bucket. I have a tier one relationship bucket, which is my wife and my son. I have a bucket for my business, a bucket for my video games, separate video games, a bucket for the OCPD coach. All of these buckets of value lanes, I use them to make sure no matter what I'm doing, I'm always feeling like I'm making progress. Because what we'll do is we'll try to we'll think we're still in time from ourselves. We'll think we're still in time from ourselves to do things that actually need to be done, such as spending time with family, such as relaxing. We will really feel like we're still in time and then not do that thing. So we want to make sure we are breaking everything down into buckets, values, lanes, whatever you want to call it, so that you know in your life, these are the things that are important to you. The next thing is, when you have these buckets or these lanes, you start to put whatever it is that you have to do into them. So this is when I use Jira. I like to use labels. I used to use epics, but I like labels. It's much easier for me to just click and adjust it. And you can have more than one label. So that was another thing. Sometimes you might have something that hits a couple buckets. You couldn't do that with epics. So I like to use labels. Now with these labels, you're going to go create the task and assign the label that is associated with that value lane or that bucket. That way, when you do that one thing, you're actually accomplishing something with that thing you're doing. So let me see something real quick, because I know I'm talking. I want to show you what I'm talking about. So for instance, take family to see Fantastic Four. This is something where old me, I would have had a really hard time making time for that task, because I would have said, no, I could be working on my game. I have 3 games I'm working on. I could be trying to do something for my YouTube channel. I could be doing this. I could be doing that. But when I created this bucket system and this value lane system, it made it so easy for me to say, well, no, because that is working towards my tier one relationship, which is my number one goal. So that is easy. It's easy for me to say that this thing should take precedence. It's all about the balance in it. Even mental health, that was good for me. So I get 2 stones with this. I get 2 stones. I get to say I did something for my tier one relationship, and also my mental health gets a bump up because of it as well. Versus something such as the stream I'm doing right now. This is something laser burn. Laser burn. Hey, welcome on in. You were diagnosed with ADHD. This is really useful. Thank you. No problem. Look, this is why I'm here. I want to help you guys, want to answer questions, and I want to really just give you all the game that I have. So I didn't get it from a therapist. This is life experience and how I've been able to hit different successes in life, in my career as and family. And I'm not perfect, but I've been productive and I have some good results. So I like to help you guys out. But yeah, something like the OCPD Coach stream for Thursdays. I probably would have been less motivated to do it had I not looked at the different things that it helps me with. I get all of these different buckets hit. My horror game, my mental health, because I like doing it now. My personal branding, I get to practice public speaking more. My retro game store simulator, I get to talk about video games I developed. My other, or I put two of them for my horror game. My spiritual, this was really good because I was actually doing a lot of spiritual stuff. My OCPD coach brand, and then also my tier one relationship. Because me doing these streams, it really helps me prioritize every single stream, every single week. It helps me prioritize all of the work I'm doing in the sprint. Had I not had this accountability, I probably wouldn't be as into using Jira. So it gives me that built-in accountability. So that's an example of that. And if you want more information on that, I do have an online course that I've been developing for a year, and it's currently being worked on right now. And I go into all of the bucket lane system. I go into that in full detail. But I'm giving you the full answer. That's why I'm really trying to give you. I don't want to just give you a shallow answer, Megan. And Laser, if this the question, by the way, is how do you prioritize the things that need to be done over the things that just, I mean, when it's difficult? Should you time box it or try to force yourself? And I'm trying to get around to that answer with a lot of context so that you can actually take it and apply it in your life. So again, first thing, A, what is the most important thing? That's what you have to think about. Build your value lane system. Figure out what the most important things to your life are. Second, what is the most valuable thing? Now, I look at value and importance a little bit different, even though I know I probably could have chosen a better word. But for me, when I said important, I meant important slash urgent, right? So if there's something that has a deadline or something that unblocks something else. When I talk about valuable, I'm talking about what is going to have the biggest impact to your life. So if there's a project that I'm working on right now, and the project is something that might not take too long, but it could bring a lot of finance into my family and my tier one relationship, taking care of my family is a big part of that, then that might be something I could bump up over something that has the same type of impact, but the same type of urgency. They both have to be done, but it doesn't really add any value right this second. I'll give you a real world example. Right now, I'm working on Retro Game Store Simulator. I've been working on it for over a year now, and I'm very close to getting it finished. I am in crunch time for that but I was approached to build a video game right here. I was approached to do this video game, and it was paid where I would get the money as I built it. For me, even though Retro Game Store Simulator is more important and urgent because it has a bigger payoff in the end, and I have a deadline to hit, the all-time wrestling game in the moment is actually more valuable. So because of the value it brings and the fact that it is important because it's going to help me with tier one relationship, I temporarily prioritize that over Retro Game Store Simulator, if that's making sense to you all. And my husband surprised me at work, so I hopped off. Oh, okay, no, you good, Megan. First of all, that's dope. I love that. I love that. Hold on, let me get some cheers for the family. Let's get some cheers for the family. Absolutely. Laser Burn, I'm on YouTube and Twitch. Megan, I'm on YouTube and Twitch. So you might see me talking to people that you don't see. That's all it is. But yeah, so Megan, rewatch this if you have to. Rewatch this if you have to, because I did give some valuable insight and I don't know where you left off. But A, so figuring out what the most important or urgent thing to you is, and then B is figuring out what the most valuable thing to you is. So what can give you the most value right now that might help you with something else? The next thing is C. How do you motivate yourself? Huh? I'm gonna say it again. How do you motivate yourself? Oh, I don't like that one. I'm gonna give a different one. How do you motivate yourself? I think that if you can figure out that part, if you can figure out how do you motivate yourself, you're gonna unlock a whole spectrum of tactics, strategies, and ways that you can improve whatever struggles you're dealing with ADHD in general. Because a lot of it comes down to our motivation. How do we motivate ourselves? So those are the three things. What is the most important or urgent thing? B, what is the most valuable thing? C, how do you motivate yourself? Things that you need to take off the table sometimes because they will get in your way are, what do I feel like doing? That question, what do I feel like doing? And if you are a compulsive thinker like myself, I also would take off the question, how could it be done? How could it be done? The reason why I say I would take that question off as well is because oftentimes we go right from I'm very motivated to do a thing immediately into how could it be done. We don't really have that stopgap where we say, okay, this is me thinking about if it should be done. This is me balancing everything out, seeing how much time I have, and I'm still guilty of this. I'm 70% better, but I'm still guilty of this at times. Now, I gave you the questions, and I'll make this real quick, guys. But I like this. I think this is really valuable for us in general, so that's why I don't mind going over. This is the thing. When you have the questions answered, we now need to talk about strategy. So now, what are the steps that you take? What are the steps that we take? These are the steps we're going to take. I see the applause. I appreciate the applause. Well, that was interesting. It was a face. I don't know how that worked. So I'm going to go back to the question so I can make sure I give you specific instructions for it. I'm also ADHD and sometimes lack the motivation to do a specific task. So, first issue we have is motivation for task. Lack motivation for task. Why is going to be what I'm going to go a little bit deeper into is the why. All right, so I'm going to drop ADHD out of them. I'm just simplifying this, right? So I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to show you guys a little strategy I like to do. And this will help you with communication. In general, it's going to help you with communication. So what I'm going to do is take what you sent and I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down a little bit. So I was trying to get, oh, here we go. Force yourself. Here we go. All right. So we're going to do this. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you guys. So I'm also ADHD and sometimes lack the motivation to do a specific task. Okay, right here. We're going to break it up here. And this is what I want you guys to do with life. We need to make sure we fully understand the problem and fully understand what's being asked. Sometimes lack the motivation to do a specific task. Sometimes I lack the motivation to do a specific task. Question number one. Why do you lack the motivation? Question number two. How common is it for you to be motivated on that task? Okay, so I'm breaking this up, and I'm hoping this works for now. So we're gonna break it up like this. We're gonna have our big picture questions. That's what I'm going to call these. These are the questions I just detailed. And then we're going to have issue, issue A. And for consistency, let me do A and B. So we have the big picture questions. What is the most important thing to do? What provides the most valuable impact? And how do I motivate myself? All right, issue A. Sometimes I lack the motivation to do a specific task. Question A. Why do you lack the motivation? How common is it for you to be motivated on that task? And do were you ever motivated to do this task? If so, what motivated you? All right. So that's going to be issue A. Megan, if you are in here, do me a favor and answer these 3 questions. This is going to help out a whole lot. I like context. I like context. So this is going to give me context to your issue. All right. I couldn't format it, but that's it. Okay. So I just put it in the chat. So if you can answer that, let me break the rest of it down. So that's issue A. Pivot catalyst. All right, no rush. Pivot catalyst. I want to do something else. I want to do something else. So I'm going to separate these, but a lot of times these wind up being very, very closely related. I want to do something else. And yeah, Laser Burn, if you're still in here, feel free to ask any questions you have. This is a great time to ask questions. I'm off work for the week, and I'll probably be doing a gaming stream a little later tonight when I work on my video game. So I want to do something else. Is it due to, is there something specific calling for your attention? Is the task clearly defined? No problem, ladies, no problem. So let me go back and we're going to go to next thing, issue C. So the question was, do you have time blocks where you can choose whatever task you feel like doing? So first of all, let me answer that real quick. Do you have time blocks where you can choose whatever task you feel like doing, or do you force yourself to do a specific task in that time box? All right, and I see Megan just dropped our response. We'll get into that. All right, do you force yourself to do a specific task in that time block? All right, and then we're going to go to issue B. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So I broke it down. Hopefully, this helps me answer it a little bit more straightforward because I know I had this tendency to jump around and get too lost in the weeds. It's an OCPD thing, guys. All righty, let's read the response from Megan. So, issue A, we have some responses. Why do you lack motivation completing our budget? Oh, okay. No, I see it now. I was confused for a second. Okay. So the task is completing the budget. Got it. I lack the motivation maybe because I'm scared of what the results will be and that I have to make big changes. That was really great self-reflection, really fast too. So that's good. You're already ahead of the curve with the fact that you kind of know why. All right. I'm trying to format this thing and I'm not having luck. So work with my format and just work with me, y'all. And I see you said something else. We'll check that out. We'll go down here. Okay. So motivation comes and goes. Okay. Motivation comes and goes. I keep, what does that say? Did it cut out? Oh, yeah, cut out right there. Okay. Oh, I keep finding myself. I got it. I see it now. I got it. I got it. So motivation comes and goes. I keep I keep finding myself motivated when I'm not able to work on it. Like in the shower or drive when I'm not able to work on it. Yep. Like in the shower or driving or somewhere that I physically can't do it. Yep, that makes sense. You have built-in procrastination. We have this a lot. All right, C. And just for context, guys, this is what I'm breaking this down for a couple reasons. First of all, it's going to help me make sure I give an answer that is valuable and actually helpful. But secondly, start doing this when you have issues in life. This is what I call it. This is what I'm going to call the deep dive. You want to understand what the issue is or the issues, and then go deeper into all of it so you can get a full understanding. And then from there, you can start making changes or figure out what you need to do to help yourself move forward. Okay. So we have A through D. Perfect. So let's deal with this. So first of all, let me answer the question that you asked at the bottom. A, do you have time blocks where you choose whatever task you feel like doing? B, do you force yourself to do a specific task in that time block? So the way I like to do it, I'm very loose. I made it like that because I have a hard I can't just force motivation. That's really, really difficult to force motivation. What I like to do is my Jira board that I showed. I like to have my board set up where I have different tasks that I can pull that have a variety when it comes down to how difficult, excuse me, how difficult it's going to be, as well as how much time it's going to take and what the interest is in. So it's very, very easy for me to say today I need a quick ticket that I could just knock out because I have a little motivation. I don't really want to get deep into this work, but I need something fast. I just knock out a small ticket. Versus if I'm really motivated to work on a project, I'll give myself some of those bigger tickets where I just say, okay, I'm going to grind this out. And I always think about the outcome, not the current, always the outcome. How am I going to feel when this is done? How am I going to feel when this is done? How am I going to feel when this is done? That really helps me out more than thinking about in that moment, man, I would rather do something else right now. Man, this sucks. Man, this is boring. Man, this is taking a long time. Because we already know with ADHD, if something is lengthy, boring or repetitive, it's going to be really hard for us to stay motivated. So just have fun as much as you can with mixing up the different tasks that you can do. And that is why I like to do my value lanes, because I can have things in there that are fun. So going to the Fantastic Four movie, that was fun. Working on a wrestling game, for me, I love wrestling, it's fun. So something I would do for this, do you force yourself to do a specific task? So the answer is no, that's very difficult except for streaming, but streaming is just me talking, so I don't really consider that to be something that falls along those lines. What I would say is you want to practice environment setting. I need to come up with some new terminology. Environment setting. Let's call it inspiration. Inspiration. Inspiration grooming. Grooming is not what the word is implied to be. Now is just getting the inspiration. What is it, man? Manipulated. Inspiration manipulation is actually better. So inspiration manipulation. Playlists. I love playlists. Music, videos, whatever. Station. So music, videos, setting, movies. So setting is office space, posters, locations. So inspiration, this is a really big one for me, is environment setting. Another thing is proper proper task breakdown. So we have getting started MVP, release MVP, and then chunked, chunked out, chunked out tasks. So these are things that are going to help you. And accountability. Person, system, deadline, announcement, whatever it might be. Accountability. So these are the things that really help me is the accountability. So having some form of system where I know what I need to do, when I need to do it. Proper task breakdown. So having an MVP for before I get started. I need to know everything that is required before I get started. And then having an MVP for when I consider this thing to be done. And in between, you want to have chunked out tasks. So you know exactly what you need to do and you want to have them digestible. I like to say, try to chunk them out within an hour, things that you can knock out within an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, so that you can just feel baby steps of progression. Because a lot of times you try to eat that entire cake at the same time and you choke on it. So let's go back up. So hopefully that helps with these two questions, and that'll be considered solved. What I'll also do is drop this inside of the chat for you if you need to grab it. They put a limit on how big the messages could be. So for now, I'll do that and then that. There we go. Okay, perfect. So you got that. Now let's go back up. So sometimes I like the motivation to do a specific task. Right now we're talking about completing our budget. We want to get that done. My first question was, why do you lack the motivation? Why do you believe it? Your answer was, oh, Discord is actually great. Yeah, I could put it in Discord. Laser, if you're still here, we need to invite you to the Discord. I need to start actually promoting this thing. Up, 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 up. Full cam for a second, because I don't know. All right, we're good. Never know what's going to show up on Discord. So let me go here. All right. And yeah, we can leave it in general. What I need to do is make a button for the Discord. just like I do all my other buttons. So okay, so going back to the top. So the issue was sometimes I lack the motivation to do a specific task. We're talking about completing our budget. I asked, why do you lack the motivation? You said I lack the motivation maybe because I'm scared of what the results will be and that I have to make big changes. Okay, this is great. This, though, is where I would consider that you look at when I said what is important and what is valuable. Because to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume you being a mother, you being a wife, that your tier one relationship is going to look a lot like mine's. Where my tier one relationship is my significant other, my wife, and then my son. Let me get a link for you real quick. Copy. All right, that's the Discord link. And if that is the case, then what you want to do is understand that that is probably one of the most important things that you can do. It's something that's going to benefit your family. That is something that benefits your family, even if you have to make big changes. So that's thing number one. You want to think about that and how important it is, how valuable it is, and then keep the outcome in mind. Keep the outcome in mind. Another thing you can do is watching other people who are doing something just like you, or people who might be in worse situations. I know when I was trying to get out of personal debt, I watched a lot of Dave Ramsey, the Ramsey Show, and hey, welcome on in, Laser, welcome in. When I watched the Ramsey Show, while I was trying to get out of debt, while I was making my budgets, it felt good because I knew there were people walking alongside me who were having to make sacrifices just like I did. And that kept me motivated. While also thinking about my son is coming into the world. I want to make sure we have stability for him. So that's one thing. The next thing. Okay, y'all, we getting the Discord going. That's cool. The next thing is this. How common is it for you to be motivated on that task? You said motivation comes and goes. I find myself motivated when I'm not able to work on it, like in the shower or driving or somewhere that I physically can't do it. So I challenge you. I challenge you. I'm starting to think that another one of the things that is making this difficult for you is that you might not want to, and this is just a guess, but it might be that you might not want to write this out. You might not want to take the time to sit down, type, write, whatever it might be. Because you listed places such as, I mean, you first of all said that you physically can't do it, places like that, you get motivated. But you said the shower, driving, somewhere else that you physically can't work on it. If you could find a way to record yourself, let's say if you have the voice recorder going while you're in the shower, record, just start thinking about the different expenses, right? Baby step your way through. Think about the different categories that you have. Say, okay, write it down into a list. You can send, they have a lot of transcript software that you can use. Take that and then start going through all of the numbers in a separate task, but give yourself credit for at least considering what types of items need to be in that budget, right? We have to trick ourselves a little bit to get things done. It's not, we can't just really hot shot a lot of stuff if we are not used to it. So that's one way to trick it. Oh, that might be a good guess. I didn't think of that before. That's the thing. It's all about hacking your brain. So the more you can think about convenience for you, and if you like talking, try to see if you could talk certain stuff out and then transcribe it and then go and do the rest of it. So step number three, were you ever motivated to do this task? Yes, I have been motivated in the past. It dwindled over time. So that leads us to D. If so, what motivated you? I was motivated by feeling confident, having steady income, not having as many bills and expenses and responsibilities compared to how many we have now, etc. So this is going to be with mental health is really difficult because you always have to make sure you're not saying anything harmful. You know, that's my biggest thing. I want to make sure I'm giving you practical advice, but not being harmful at the same time. External accountability helps sometimes, but fake accountability does not work for me. Like setting a fake due date for myself. Yeah, fake due dates they don't tend to work. The fake due dates, but if you have an actual due date where you make somebody reliant on you getting that date done, now we're talking. For instance, if you say if you went into let's say you have Chase Bank, a bank with a couple banks, and you're with Chase Bank, you can set up deposits that come out on a certain day. And if you were to say, by this date, if I don't have this task done, I'm automatically going to take 200 or 300 bucks from my account and give it to somebody. Let's say it's somebody you know who you can trust, who won't let you keep moving the date and the deadline. Then I think you can force yourself to say, okay, now I actually have a deadline because I don't want to be a liar. I think that's a big thing. I don't think we want to be liars, right? If you don't want to be a liar, you're going to make sure you do everything in your power to get it done. So that's one thing I would consider is I'm just throwing that out there is that. But I think real accountability is what you are going to have to do here, and you're going to have to consider how you getting your finances together. Yeah, post it in the accountability thread. Definitely. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm an a-hole a little bit when it comes down to people getting stuff done. I don't like excuses. My wife can attest to it. I tell people if you say you're gonna do something, do it, or else communicate. So if that's something that you want, I'll definitely help. Yeah, that money transfer is a good idea. Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just talking out loud. People get motivated by different things, but you're gonna have to really think about how this is gonna impact your future, right? When I talked about the environment setting and inspiration manipulation, sometimes you have to put a little fear in your heart. Not too much where you lose your mind, but you want to put some fear in your heart. So this is when I recommend looking at people who are in really really bad financial situations and realize how they were one bad thing away from that happening. Looking at people who are in extreme amounts of debt where they're losing their vehicles, losing their homes, whatever it might be, and say, okay, I need to be in a better situation. Looking at people who are older who are not able to retire, 80 years old, 70 years old, still having to work. Look at these people because they really exist. And try to understand, first of all, empathize. You always want to say, how would I feel if was in that position? And hopefully you are hoping that people get better. But you're going to think about how you would feel if you were in that position. And then you're going to really, really obsessively think about what it would be like to be in that position and what you can do to avoid being in that position. And that's the part where I'm telling you, it can kind of get dangerous depending on how your brain cycles. My brain, when it's like that, I go into fight mode and I say I'm going to do a lot of planning and get extreme with my planning. But some people might shrivel up and that might be too much for them to handle. So you have to know yourself and know what you can actually handle. I'm not a therapist. I'm somebody with ADHD and OCPD, and I tell you what works for me, and I come up with potential solutions to help you with your practical, real life, real life issues that you're dealing with. So I think it's possible. I do. I think you can get it figured out, Megan. I do think that I believe in divine timing, and you came into my channel at a time where I'm trying to really help with strategies opposed to just saying, okay, here, I'm gonna give you a full video that's not specific to you. Now, with me doing live streams, you can actually come in and ask specific questions. You can go into the Discord, me just starting that up. And if you need to do work studies or if you need somebody to work while you work and we just keep it quiet or you go on mute or something like that, these are options now. So you'll get it done. Don't be too hard on yourself. Also, do you have a template? Do you have a template for the budget? Because a template will help you out a lot also. And guys, just so you know, I'm getting ready to wrap this stream up. I might be coming back on around 8:30. Check on my son, make sure he's good. But I might be coming back on around 8:30 because I have a lot of work I want to get done, and today might be a work stream. Today might be a work stream. Tomorrow might be a work and talk stream more. You've been really helpful and supportive. I'm grateful for you. Thank you. That means a lot. That really means a lot to me. It does. I wanted to make my content where, because it's a lot of times I can get out here and make content that might just get attention, but I wanted to make sure if I'm putting content out here, it's actually helpful, valuable, and it's something you can take and apply in your real life. So I'm really appreciative. Yeah, I've got too many resources. I just need to get the stuff done. Okay, so you're not in Jira yet, and that's the only thing I want to get you in Jira. Yeah, body doubling. Yep, like body doubling. Because I do have times where I just want to work and show people what I'm working on. So anytime I'm live or something, that's a great time to do that. Yeah, yeah. I really want you to get your Jira board set up. So try to do that. If you could try to do that first, if you can get your Jira board set up first, then I can help you with the rest. I can help you with that too, but I think you should do that because you already started it. Get your Jira board set up first. I'll teach about sprints if you want to know about what a sprint is. When I talk about a sprint, it's just the increment of time. That's just a 1 week time period, and we work in sprints. We only choose the work we're doing for a week. We bump stuff out if we have too much stuff in, and we pull stuff in if it becomes urgent or if we have more time. So these sprints really should hold you accountable. But I can also do that on my side with the accountability. Just let me know whatever you need, and we'll make sure you get whatever you need. And yeah, no problem, no problem. So with that being said, I do want to tell everybody that came in today, thank you all so much. I did post a link for Discord, so I think we should have folks in. I know Laser joined the Discord, so that's awesome. And yeah, the streams are right now. The streams are quiet, it's chill, but I really like the fact that we can have these more intimate conversations that are personal to you all because I think that's a lot more helpful than me giving out random advice or random things to just say, yeah, try this, try that, try this. So if you guys do like it, make sure you go to the YouTube channel, sub to the YouTube channel. We are officially at 311 subscribers, and I do have more content. I think it's over 1 hour long video with Molly Shay from You Seem Normal, and that will be releasing soon. I'm also, if I go live tonight, I'll probably be on DIY Interactive instead of the OCPD Coach channel, but I will make sure I share the link on my post. So make sure you have all of the post notifications live so that you get notified. And if you're on Twitch, don't worry. I only have one Twitch channel, so I'm always going live on the OCPD Coach on Twitch. That being said, if you all need me, reach out to me. Leave a comment on the video if you have questions. If there's content you want to see, let me know. I'm willing to make videos about whatever you think will help you out. And I hope you all have a great day. Y'all keep fighting for your life. And if you tune in tonight, then I'll see you soon. All right. Peace.